folks, we have Samantha Evans, who is a bodybuilder. Sam has been in bodybuilding for a lot of years and has been really top class. She was in the British Championships. And which position did she come?
First champion, British champion.
British champion, that's fantastic. So today we're going to hear a bit about Sam, speak about how she trains, what she eats, and how she's getting on. So we'll start straight away. Sam, tell us a wee bit about yourself then.
So from the fitness side of it,
Just tell us about your life, how you get into this thing, how you get into it first of all.
I've always been into fitness, so I quite like just general being outside. I don't like indoors at all. Always went out running, walking, went to the gym, didn't really have a clue what I was doing many years ago. Came to your kickboxing actually and done your kickboxing for a number of years. That was a long time ago. It was about 25 years ago, I think.
No, it was 10 years ago, it's not long.
I know that old George. Yeah, so just anything that was active, and then it was only 6-7 years ago that I started thinking about lifting the weights properly. Went to watch a bodybuilding show, and that's how I kind of started.
It's a thing, and a lot of women do it, and you're at it too, it's a thing you don't really associate with a lot of women.
No, you don't, never used to.
The man's kind of thing is, nowadays you do really well at it. Well, you do other things as well, is that true?
Yes.
Hill walk as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do hill walking.
So tell us a bit about your eating and how you actually into this weightlifting thing, into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
What sort of training you actually do?
So my training because I did some powerlifting and done some strong women as well, and I liked anything with heavy weights. So when I first started lifting the weights, I really just focused on heavy weights. So it would be things like your deadlifts, your bench, your shoulder press, your squatting. So anything like your compound exercises, and then moving on to...
Excuse me, what do you mean?
Oh, sorry, compound.
Compound exercise. Tell me, explain to the viewers what this actually is.
A compound exercise would be like if you're doing what they call a deadlift, that it is. So that's like you're doing that to grow the muscle that you have.
Right, yeah.
So that's like one that you're wanting to lift really heavy weights. And then when you refer to something as an accessory, that's more if you're doing like a cable machine.
Right.
So you're using a cable machine or some dumbbells.
So that we put is, when you say you're bodybuilding, were you bodybuilding to make your body bigger, or now
shape?
Now your body was more shaped. It was more like a. Actually, give me some pictures here. Got some pictures.
Yeah. Here. So I was extremely skinny before I started bodybuilding, as in I had no shape whatsoever. So that's the British champion that won. That is.
Right folks, we can see these photographs. This is Sam. Sam, did you feel? Start with the camera. That's you now, okay? That's.
I used to be extremely skinny, about 8 stone.
That's Sam now, and this was Sam back then. I'll just see that. Yeah, that shows back then. See the difference and what you can actually make your body into. Look, make your body into this kind of thing. Which to me,
which I had no shape before.
But that's what you call dedication. How long do you starve yourself for to do this?
I don't starve myself at all. You'll be really surprised, because from an eating point of view, people always think you must starve yourself. You don't. What you just do is you eat better choices of food, and you don't have the fats and sugars in your diet.
I thought you don't dehydrate yourself with food or something.
You're only doing it the night before.
Yeah.
So it's not as severe. You know, you see, there's obviously a lot of people do everything a lot differently, but how we do it, where I compete with the BNBF, which is the Natural Bodybuilding Federation. I've only ever competed with them. That's where the pictures are from.
Excuse me, so all the other bodybuildings, there's a lot of drugs intake, is there?
Well, I don't know about the other federations. I only compete with them because I know how strict and regime their drug testing is.
See, I know nothing about it. All I know is I hear folks saying they take steroids to make themselves massive, and I thought, I might got to take it, because it makes your heart a bit bigger, and that, to me, it's not a good thing your heart.
Well, it wouldn't be for me.
Anyway, I'd say, look at that, you're super fit. Plus, I know you're Ferrie, because you've been hill walking, and you're quite fit up the hills. So you're there to keep going. So what else? You did kickboxing. How long ago? It was 25 years ago.
It was about 25 years ago.
And that just kept yourself going. So that was someone to keep yourself as
It was just fitness. It was all about fitness. Just going out running, doing any classes I could, going to the kickboxing, anything. And then when I then started to look at the shape, I was really skinny. Never really in any shape. You don't get shape as a runner, is my personal view. So I wanted to start getting into weightlifting.
How was the skinny baby running? If you're a heavy person, you want
I was a skinny person, you see.
Yeah, well, you lose much weight. If you're a heavy person to start running, I wouldn't condemn any exercise.
Oh no, I think running's fantastic, but for me, it made me even skinnier.
That's what I was just saying.
So for losing weight was great if you're wanting to keep, because they always stayed skinny, but not. I wanted to build shape. I didn't want to be skinny with no shape.
They've never got shape now.
Yeah, well, I've got way better shape. I mean,
and
I'm
you
about
more competitions?
I will be doing other competitions. So I was supposed to compete last year, but because of the lockdowns, so that this year the Worlds is in the Cayman Islands.
You're going across here, yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. So I would.
But listen, here's the thing. To go across, you've got to get a jab, haven't you?
No, you don't.
That's okay, that's good.
So they've changed it now. They did last year, which is why nobody went over last year.
Yeah, completely. In my opinion, it's... Well, I'll spell myself about it. It's not about it, yeah. It's not about
So
it.
the Caymans is just this year. I wasn't due to compete this year because I'm 50 in a few
No,
weeks'
you
time.
don't look 50 at all. You don't look 50 at all.
So we'll see how it goes anyway. I would definitely, to compete in the Caymans would be amazing.
How many girls actually take part in this, as I say, being a sort of not really much about it, how many folk are actually involved?
Oh, there's a huge amount of girls, but they do there's different categories. So I'm in the women's bodybuilding,
Right.
which is the same as category as the men's bodybuilding. Then you get bikini, which is like your slimmer girls in shape. Then you'll get your figure girls, and then you'll get athletic. So there's different categories of girls that there is.
What about the sort of the mixed, the mixed race again? There's the mixed guy and girl, guy and girl together.
So they don't know that at the Worlds, like in Miami, the year before, they done like men and women on. They do like classes, like they done classes. But that's not something that's very common. It's,
I meant transsexual.
oh, transsexual. Oh, George, I've no idea. I've never seen that before in
I'm not saying
bodybuilding.
because you get transsexual every place these days.
Yeah.
So he's got a bodybuilding too.
Well, not that I've seen. That
that
may
would
change,
work,
but I would hate to think I'd go up on stage against somebody that
That's what I'm
maybe
saying,
had the opportunity to build a lot more muscle, whereas I don't have testosterone, so there's only so much muscle I can
See,
build.
that's what I was trying to explain, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's running these days and folk are competing.
Well, I've
transsexual.
seen-
It's not anything against transsexuals, it's up to the
No.
individual person to do what they do, but keep a thing like that categorised to your own kind of people, you know.
Well, if I was up, I mean, if I can only build my body to a certain point, and I had to go up against somebody that had maybe built, that was my age and had built the level of muscle, there would be probably absolutely no chance of me getting anywhere if that was the case. Whereas, I've never seen that before, but in all the years I've competed, it's just a good mix of different. I mean, it's all age groups. Mine's isn't a certain age group; it's a mixture of age groups.
That's good, it's all age groups, so you would compete against kids.
Like there's women in their
There's no
20s.
veterans, there's no veterans stage.
There's not an age in my category.
That's
So
good.
there would be people in their 20s, 30s,
And you've
40s.
beaten all the people.
Well, I did at the British, yeah.
That's fantastic, so you're actually competing at your age, not just you good for your age, but competing against the
Oh,
people.
it's good to compete against all different ages, yeah.
That's fantastic,
Yeah.
brilliant, that's really tremendous. And one of the things you're going to do once you get finished competing, you're going to compete for years, or are you going to stop?
I don't know. Do you know, I think if you don't put a date on it, I might not, that's 2018 was the last time I competed because of lockdown, so I've not been able to compete for 2 years. 3 years actually, is that 3 years?
I've probably almost 4.
Well, I was waiting to say it'll be 4 years this year, and I was waiting to say it'll be 4 years this year, whereas I was supposed to compete again, I was supposed to compete last year, but it didn't happen because the rules had changed. We had not been allowed to travel to the Caymans.
That's crazy.
So I would normally have taken a year off, compete the year after, so we'll see, but as I say, I don't put, I might retire in a couple of years, I don't know.
Yeah, but you keep
If you still,
yourself fit.
oh absolutely, I'll never stop the training. I don't compete, I don't train to compete, I only compete because when I trained,
You just something to aim for.
absolutely.
Other folks should be watching this should realise, folks should get off their bums and do some exercise, no?
Do you know, for even thinking about in the last 20 months with the people's mental health and well-being, eating and training and fitness will make you feel
Much better.
much better. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll be the same, George. You'll have loads of energy. We've been so active over the years.
I never stop, can't afford to stop. I'm scared to get really. Scared to get, there's a colour of fat, I'm scared to get fat, pure and simple, not messing about, I'm scared to get that way. I hate the thought of that. But that's just me. But so when you finish this exercising, you're going to go into, find something new to head for something, another goal in life.
So I mean the bodybuilding, I don't know when I'll stop doing the bodybuilding, but as far as the actual training goes, I'll never stop the training until I physically can't.
I give myself goals in life all the time. Once I do one thing, I always give myself something else.
Right.
So I always keep myself busy. So when you finish this, you take up another goal and say,
I don't know.
you might keep doing lifting or bodybuilding all your days, but another thing to give you another goal to do something else, to just say, for instance, you want to take up running, but you don't like running, but take up cycling or do something else to give you another goal to get a challenge or something else.
Yeah, I mean, I took up cycling last year, well, in the first year of the lockdown, hadn't cycled for like 30 years, and then was out on Sunday cycling 54 miles
That's
and doing
brilliant,
it for time.
yeah.
So
That's fitness, yeah.
yeah.
Definitely
So
fitness.
I just showed how fit I was, even though I don't really do any
Where's
sort of
biking?
running. Eh?
Where did you bike
I
to?
biked from Arbroath to Montrose up the that hill, Lunan Hill, the
That's a
cracking
steep
hill,
hill,
that's a
yeah.
steep hill, and then from Montrose across to Forfar, and then Forfar all the way back
That's a
to,
blow run for a day.
which is it, it's 54
Yeah.
miles.
Cameraman Colin, do you listen to this? You listen to this, Colin, no? Because you're a fine specimen of a man, you should do this as well. You're super fit as well, so you should be doing the biking too. Shouldn't you?
Biking's a great way to get
I
fit
love
because you can
biking,
see,
yeah.
you can get out and see loads on a bike without having to try. I mean, what I love about anything like that, walking, running, as I say, is great. I've done it for a very long time, but because I started to get bothered with my knees and I wanted to get more in shape, that's why I've done the lifting of weights. So there's nothing wrong with running.
Well, actual biking is fantastic. I bike a lot. I've got most days, a lot of days biking. I say sometimes bikes at Andrews and Christopher Gate are biking.
Yeah.
But so biking to me is the best form of exercise. You see
You
millions.
see loads, you can get loads, you can get really far.
You get some French cars pass by and not caring.
The back roads are not bad, that's why I tend to do all the back roads, they're not
It's
bad.
brilliant fun. And so you do hill walking sometimes too.
Yeah, I love the hill walking,
That's
that's
good fun. You see
brilliant.
loads here. That's quite
Yeah.
that's quite hard sport too actually.
Yeah.
Because it's very tiring to climb
Oh aye,
a bag on your back.
I know. I was waiting to see my bag, or a dog on your back.
I love the dog, yeah, me too, yeah. But it's good fun. So the wee club I've got, hill walking is good too. So everything's really good. But see, to see what you do is what I think is amazing. What you do with your actual bodybuilding, I think it's fantastic because the dedication you've got to do that. I don't know what dedication's got to be to do things, but when I see you doing that, that is fantastic, no?
I think the bodybuild, like you say, with the challenge, I train anyway, so what the bodybuilding does is it gives you a goal. Like when I won when I first competed, I came third in Scotland.
Yeah.
So my goal was the next year to be first.
Yeah.
So then when I won the first in Scotland, I then decided, my goal then was to do well at the British,
Yeah.
but I came sixth at the British the first
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So I thought, right, I need to go away, train, build more muscle,
Now listen,
and come back.
See when they say you're 60, what can you improve on? What can you actually improve on to move forward?
Loads.
Make yourself bigger? Or cut yourself up more? Or?
All your weaknesses, because in bodybuilding it's very particular, as in you've got to have the full package. You've got to have you can't just have shoulders, you can't just have arms, you can't just have legs. You've got to have everything. You've got to have calves, back, legs, arms, triceps, biceps. You've got to have shape. And also your diet is really important. So you've got to look really, really good.
Nice shiny skin, look good, paint yourself.
And people get the perception that if they look in the mirror and think, my perception is when I first started competing, I would look and think, God, I'll look a lot better than I did.
Yeah.
But I did look better, but compared to when you go on stage and then you come off stage and realise that you could be a lot better.
So tell me, see when you go on stage, you look fantastic, you're really, really ripped to bits. How long does it take to get back to normal again?
Oh, about a week after you've eaten all your pizzas and your burgers and your
Burgers very bad for you.
To be honest, I don't, on a general week to week, I quite eat the same food all the time. It doesn't bother me eating the same food. But when you've come, I was 46 weeks prepping for the Worlds the last time. So
46 weeks.
So by the time you've got to the end of 46 weeks, you just want to eat loads of food.
How'd you win the Worlds?
I got second in the world.
That's fantastic. No, that's brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic. So you're second in the Worlds, first in Britain.
There was only a point between me and the girl that won.
That's fantastic. In the World Championship, and you're walking away going, yeah, look at me.
But it's quite good in a way because it gives you the drive to want.
I must give you some drive when you're second in the World. That's fantastic.
It gives you the drive to want to come first in the world.
Yeah, so
it does.
you got a chance of doing that, do you think?
Well, as long as I look right on stage. And the good thing about the British was, there was a good level of competition at the British.
Oh.
There was, it was a good standard. I think there was 10 or 11 on stage. So I always say to win a competition with that amount of people on stage is really good.
That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I can't believe you've got a good World Championship. That is fantastic. I don't know that. So I don't see much about weightlifting. I was in here training all the time. People, I never see much about it. That's fantastic what you did.
I probably didn't tell an awful lot. It wasn't advertised. It's just something. It's a personal goal.
Personal, it's a fantastic personal goal. Come back along. That is magnificent.
Yeah.
So you did well with that standard of thing. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely chuffed with that. I was going to say to you now, you've started up your own gym, having your own business.
Yes,
Sort of business,
so just as I say, over the last couple of years, seeing people's mental health, people more spending all their time maybe drinking, eating out of fast foods, not looking after themselves, getting unfitter. I wanted to start helping people to a bit like yourself, George, you do that with a lot of people, so I wanted to help people to get fitter, maybe change what they're eating, get a better mental health, get more active, get outside more, do stuff. So I decided to leave my job and set up my own company full time.
That's fantastic. So what does this actual company going to consist of?
So one-to-one personal training, there it is, depending on the type of training that they're looking for. Predominantly the people that will tend to come to me will be people that want to lift weights and get strong, that they will. As I say, it can be a mixture of stuff because I've experienced lots of different training over the years. They can have online coaching as well. I can do all their food planning and nutrition and tell them what types of food to eat and change what they're eating, give them the right calories that they should be eating, whether they want to lose weight, build muscle or lift stronger.
That's a good incentive then to help people as well.
Yeah, and ideally the reason I've probably done it as well is I want to also try and encourage the younger generation to get fitter, because at school I don't think they get taught on nutrition or get taught on how to eat healthy.
I think it's the closest way to get to schools. Like, you actually look into food big time, what I've been doing recently, it's going to come out shortly too. What food eat is disgraceful at school, how it's really bad for you.
But just even generally, you'll know yourself, I mean, I used to spend, when I started bodybuilding, I used to spend all my days going around supermarkets looking at the labels. And then when you actually look at what's in the products, that's quite scary. So I'm quite happy to just eat basic, simple food all the time, that at least the quality is better. You're not putting I don't eat any processed food at all.
That's the most dangerous things. You actually eat processed. When you're doing that much weightlifting, you need your body in tip-top shape.
To fuel it. So but the other thing is as well, it's okay for people to, I'm trying to encourage people to change their lifestyle but still be allowed to have a life, so still eat health, be able to have a night out if they want, be able to go out for a drink if they want, be able to have a nice cooked dinner, but at least generally in the week try and make better choices.
Just be able to drink actually. A glass of wine is very, very good for you, really good for your arteries, it clears your arteries. I mean, a bit of chocolate, cocoa. Well, cocoa is very
I have cocoa, I was waiting to say, I buy organic cocoa powder, 100%. I put it in my porridge.
Fantastic, wee bit cocoa chocolate. It's fantastic for you. A wee glass of wine, it's the most healthy thing you can take.
Yeah, as I say, generally, I found people telling me or saying to me over the last couple of years that they're probably drinking now most nights because of lockdown. They were getting in the habit of drinking more. Whereas it's just getting people out of these habits and into better habits, and maybe only having a drink on a Friday or a Saturday night instead.
I'll tell you what, a glass of whiskey is one of the best things you can take. One glass of whiskey is one of the best things you can take.
Is that what you have, is it?
No, it's because of water of life.
I think if they say, is there not a thing that says if you have one glass of whiskey one small glass of whiskey, it can, people live a lot longer or something like that.
Actually read the ingredients of whiskey, how it's made, it's very, very good for you. It's actually good. One wee glass, I'm not encouraging people to drink, by the way.
I was going to say.
One wee glass of wine and one wee glass of whiskey will do no any harm at all. In fact, do more good than harm. It's actually good for you. You actually read things that I've been reading lots of lately and find out all these things are really good for you. It's good, So when you stage on,
I was going to say you don't get to drink any alcohol when you're prepping for going on stage.
And do you get tested for drugs and all that?
Yes. Good. So you get if you win, if you place what they call placing. So if you go to qualifier and you place to the British, you get you do a drug test there and then. So when you walk off stage,
you're always clean.
100%, but you also get a polygraph test, which is really important because then polygraph test tells if you've had any drugs in the last 7 years. Because somebody could stop taking drugs a few weeks before and walk on stage and be clean. So the polygraph, which is why I like the BNBF, because I know that anybody that's on stage with me is not going to be taking any drugs, and we're all going to be at the same level. So the polygraph would determine if somebody's taking something that they possibly shouldn't have.
You're cheating. Basically, you're cheating.
It's just to me. Do you know what? It's anybody to their own stuff, but people need to make sure they're up against the same level. People, if I went to do a show where it wasn't drugs tested, I would know that I was going up against these people. It's important to be a level playing field.
There's that many cheats around these days, one to one all the time. So you're cheating. So you better be safe and sorry in a decent place. That's brilliant. I can't believe you're that good in the world. I can't believe that's doing fantastic. That's nice to know.
I think I was just delighted to get to the world. I think that, and it's
the Cayman Islands, really.
The Cayman Islands, Caribbean.
Has the Caribbean needs making it?
Eh?
Needs making it?
All your, so you've got all your Barbados and everything, all your Caribbean.
Oh, yeah, it'll be warm, isn't it?
Oh, I went there for a trip the year before, 2019 it was, and it's beautiful, really beautiful. The beaches are absolutely gorgeous. The water's like going into a jacuzzi.
This is the worst I've been to. Probably Skye. This is the worst I've been to. Yeah, that's the beaches I go to.
Oh, Skye, yeah, that'll be a nice.
Skye was not my cup of tea.
It'll be quite warm though.
Skye, no joking, Skye was not my cup of tea at all.
Was it not?
No, I couldn't stand it.
No, I haven't been to Skye.
Oh, no.
I go swimming in the sea here, it's a bit chillier here. Yeah, I go through over the March to October, we started going swimming in the sea at nights.
For the last 5 years, Colin came with me once to get down to swimming, New Year's Day, down for swimming in the sea.
Oh, did you go the New Year's Day? I should have
No,
went.
not down, just
No.
I go there and swim. I go to out to the beach and jump in the water and swim.
Yeah, I do that at Elliot Beach over
the New Year's Day.
Yeah, over March to October we go down and swim in Elliot Beach.
We were doing holiday, going down Susebell, we jumped into the water, had a wee swim and jumped out fast.
I was waiting to say it'd be freezing when you come out.
Frozen.
Yeah, absolutely freezing. Because it's alright in the summer because you come out to the heat, but in the winter if you're coming out to the cold.
I'm not in for going in the water too much. Showers enough for me.
Yeah, we normally do once a week in the summer.
We just go to there.
Just Elliot.
Lots of good places to go there. Loon Bay's quite a good place to go there. It's beautiful around here, actually.
It is, we're really lucky. I think seeing and doing the hill walking helps because you get to see much more of
I've got a
Scotland.
wee question here for how sort of weight do you actually lift? That's what I'd like to know. What sort of weight do you actually lift?
So if I was doing it, so my personal best on a deadlift would be 155 kilos.
Right. Explain what a deadlift is.
So a deadlift is basically your bar on, you know when you see Strongman and Eddie Hall's got the bar on?
Yeah. You're strong.
So he's just lifting it off the ground up to here.
Yeah.
So you've got your barbell with your weights on the end and you're down lifting it up to about your knee.
And that's a
deadlift.
Right. That's it could be any weight. What's the weight? Did you 100 what kilos?
155 kilos is my personal best, but I don't do that every week. That was a one-off when I was probably about 10 kilos heavier. On an average week, I would hope, if I was training and thinking 120 kilos for reps would be quite, probably about 5 or 6.
5 or 6 reps 9 times?
I would do that, maybe, I would work my way up my weights. I'd do like 100 kilos I've managed, I think my best was 22 reps on that one.
100 kilos?
Yeah.
What weight? What kind of exercise do you do then?
Bench, so your bench press, so lying flat, doing your bench press, my personal best on that is 80 kilos. I've never really got above 80 kilos because I always get injuries in my arms.
So that's, what about shoulders?
Shoulder press would be 55 kilos would be personal best, but I only got 1 rep on that. And that's not something I could do every week. That's
weight he's doing compared with a guy.
I'm 60 kilos.
Yeah, guys won't be much better. Some guys won't be much better than that. No?
So it's only 5 kilos lighter above my head.
That's brilliant. I think it's fantastic.
Squatting's not my best one. I've squatted 117 and a half before, but it's not my strongest. Because my legs, being a runner, were always my weakest. They were really skinny.
I don't squat and bust my knees up.
Well, and also my knees were. What about?
Curling.
Oh, bicep curl, I have no idea because I probably don't even notice the bicep curl so much. I don't, because they're more isolation exercises, so bicep curl, what 10 kilos on each side probably with a 10 kilo bar, so maybe 30 kilos.
Oh yeah, what about sit-ups?
I could do 50 sit-ups.
50?
Yeah, in one go.
50?
I think I'd done 47 when I was doing it against a guy once.
You usually do 1,000 to start with, don't you?
Used to.
Yeah, used to.
Yeah, I think 50 would probably be, if I was doing it as a one-off, without a rest, I probably could do.
50?
How many can you do, George?
Without a rest to start with?
Uh-huh.
At least a 300.
Could you?
At least.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I did 1,000 kilometres. I thought, I think you must up.
Without a rest?
Yeah, no bother at all.
I probably maybe could if I push myself, but it's no something. I normally do like 4 or 5 sets of 10 or something at the gym.
No, must be at least, every set must at least 100. Every set, I feel, has to be at least 100.
Oh, is it?
At least 100, yeah.
Okay. No, it's not something I do. I'll do sit-ups. Sit-ups or push-ups, sorry, I'm getting the wrong one. Oh no, sit-ups, I could probably just do them all day long.
Yeah.
No, sorry, push-ups.
Yeah. Oh no, they're doing it together. We do it, Paul.
I was going to say, I'm thinking 100
We did 1,000 of them too, didn't we? We did things there.
Oh, sit-ups, I could do loads of
We
them.
did things there for charity too.
You get bored of sit-ups though, that's why you could probably...
No, I was crunched me and touch was always sore. I have to do, I was crunched sit-ups, it's always burning your belly to bits. And planking and...
Oh, I think the longest plank was 12 minutes once, but that was
That's
boring
all
as
good,
anything. Yeah.
Side planks, side planks and...
Yeah. I don't tend to do a lot of that sort of stuff. I used to do loads of that before, but with the bodybuilding, it's mainly focusing on your weights. I still do pull-ups and stuff.
I thought your stomach would be ripped to bits, so that's why I was asking your stomachs, because I thought your stomach would be ripped to bits, because you do your pose and your stomach
It
sticks
is,
out.
yeah.
So I thought you had loads of sit-ups to get
Well, all your heavy lifting builds your core.
Yeah.
I mean, I done sit-ups and press-ups and plank for years and years and years, because even before I started bodybuilding, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
So my abs would always still be there.
Yeah, I didn't have to do thousands of sit-ups.
No, I don't do any.
Yeah.
Now I don't do any now. I used to.
I do thousands just to get your body ripped.
No, you're holding your core all the time. Pull-ups, press-ups, anything. You're holding your core. All your weight training, you're training your core at the same time. If you imagine pushing a weight above your head, you're having to train your
strong
core.
back, strong stomach.
Yeah.
I still think you have to work your stomach to get the six-pack in and make it look fantastic with your pose now.
I'll do some abs, but not compared to, because I've done them, I mean, I probably trained my abs for 20 years.
Yeah.
So they're always there. And a lot of that's to do with how much fat you've got over your abs. I mean, I never seen my abs till I was about 45. The first time I competed was when I realised I had abs.
God, see, that's the most important muscle in your body too.
I train, but my core's always trained.
Yeah.
So you're always training your core.
Yeah, it's probably the way it makes you steady.
Yeah.
That's it helps.
And 20 years I trained core, so I've still, your core's always there.
I always thought you had to do exercise every day in your core to make it...
Oh, I don't know. I haven't got time.
I think you really do, just make sure it's okay.
Yeah, it's just, we're doing different types of training.
Yeah. I suppose you punch the belly.
Yeah.
And strong.
Yeah, I was waiting to say, you're doing a lot of different types of training.
I don't know. I still thought because you're showing your stomach off, I'd have to be ripped to bits.
If I'm doing a competition, I'll add in some core, like I'll do some sit-ups, some stuff like that, run up to the competition.
I thought you had to stick a core on main exercises.
No, it's more important to build the...
Because I see folk with muscle ball competitions, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought, they must have done 3,000 exercises.
Well, they maybe have, but I haven't.
So you're getting there without doing that, yeah.
Well, no, because I've trained it for so long, so it's always there, and I'm training it every day in the gym, but not actually focusing on it. I mean, I'll do sit-ups and press, all that sort of stuff, and leg raises and stuff in the gym.
You know, your folk, you're now training, you'll encourage them to be weightlifters too then.
So anybody, if anybody comes to me and they want to learn how, because a lot of people have no idea where to start in weights.
So where do you do it, just so folk can contact?
Breaking Point. So Breaking Point Arbroath, which is an amazing gym.
Yeah, it's Kells,
It's
just so folk can touch you, want to touch you.
Yeah, so they can get me through Facebook, through Instagram, or at Breaking Point Gym. I'll only be training out of there. The gym facilities are absolutely amazing, and the people that have joined there are delighted with the facilities. It's really good facilities.
So you want to get hold of Sam on Facebook, you want to do some weight training, get in touch with Sam on, what was it again?
So Facebook, Instagram, or at Breaking Point.
Have you got an email they can contact you?
Yes, Sam Evans Fitness that I have, but if they go on to... If they just type in Sam Evan Fitness, it'll come up with Instagram, Facebook, or my email as well.
No, well, you go, folks. So get involved in exercise.
And it can be any form of exercise or training.
Except kickboxing.
I was waiting to say, I'll not be doing kickboxing.
That's my subject.
No, I'll not be. No, it's more building strength, getting fitter, losing weight. If you want help with your nutrition and food side as well, I do all that.
So there you go, folks. There's Sam giving you a rundown of what you can do, keep yourself fit, and how she's progressed in her weightlifting things. So, from me to you guys, bye bye.